Whoa. I didn't. All right, so back this part up.
Lay it on me. Did I throw a lot of information out there? I think I did. Yeah, I got exercise equipment to pick up.
We're losing weight, we're losing pounds, and we're gaining episodes.
Tell us about your fitness.
Hello and welcome to...
This is my episode.
What?
You just jumped right on to my intro.
Sorry, my bad.
That's it. Start over, everybody. Just dump that right out of your brains.
Okay.
Hello, hey there. Hi, how are you?
Hey, Michael.
Welcome to episode 69. Now, let me drop a little egg of knowledge on your brain, okay? 69, why is that so important? Why does that number stick out in people's brains? Well, if you write it down on a piece of paper and you put the 6 and the 9 close together, it sort of looks like the yin-yang symbol. It sort of flows.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yes, it is, I think. And so having that kind of a flowy number, it just sort of makes everything around you easier for flowing.
Okay.
Right, so moving on.
Are you sure that's all that is?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I am old and wisdomous.
Wisdomized.
Yeah,
Wisdomicated.
wisdomanded. I demanded wisdom as I was growing.
Okay.
Mike was so excited that it was episode 69, and that's what you gave us.
Well, yeah, it's just an important number. It's probably a religious number as well.
Oh, you think so? It's like a biblical number?
It could be.
Yeah.
The number was first invented back in Egyptian times. And so they were first in hieroglyphics, and we eventually
oh my God.
transcribed
I could
them.
definitely see it as a hieroglyphic.
Yeah, well, there you go.
There you go.
Science.
Isn't it also like it kind of looks like one of the birth signs? What are those called?
The astrological signs?
No.
Astronomy signs? Astrologonomy? Signs?
Yeah, one of those. Like a Pisces or some shit, right? Don't
It
they
could be.
look
That
like
could be a Pisces. Yeah, if you squeeze them together hard enough, or maybe flip them so that they're lying down. The
Yeah.
numbers.
Yeah,
the
lying
69.
down?
Yeah,
There's
then
something
it could be
about
like a fish that's
Yeah.
flying.
Is it Pisces? Am I making that up? It's one of
I don't
those.
think so.
Fish.
Pisces is
a
definitely the
fish.
fish.
Sure.
Yeah.
You're talking about the astrological signs, right?
I am. Isn't there one about? I don't know. Anyway, just continue.
We'll just sleep on
Are
it.
you just talking about star shapes in the sky with the weights and what do you mean? I'm so confused. Constellations?
No, honey.
Listen,
You
that's
had
all
it
right.
right.
We've given you guys a lot of
You're
important
getting
knowledge
colder.
on the number
Sorry.
On the number
My bad.
69. So
I'm
just
a little
take everything.
distracted.
Take everything that we put in there and just sleep on it. It'll be fine.
Just sleep on 69?
Just sleep on 69.
All right, we're
Okay,
gonna...
just kidding. It was Cancer. My bad. Anyway,
That's
Cancer
the crab.
sign.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
but it looks like 69.
Oh.
See?
It's a Cancer 69. I don't like that.
I don't like
I don't like
I
that.
don't like that one bit.
at all. Welcome, people. It is episode 69. We are very excited to have you with us today.
Welcome
As
to
you
our
can
69.
tell, Michael's here, and so is Chrissy. We are here for another episode of Finding My Fit at 40. I still had to get it in. I have to say.
No, you did great.
I did.
Yeah, it's okay then.
I'm sorry. Oh, now I'm good.
Yeah,
All right,
you can
good.
even do it again in the middle
Thanks.
and at the end. Like, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Okay. Yeah. Like the two ends of the 9 and the 6. Okay.
They just go together so well.
They just fit together so perfectly.
Right.
That's what it is.
They're
It's
like
something about the way that
interlocking.
they fit.
It's something.
There is
about
something about
the
that.
way
Something
It's
about
six
that.
and the other one's
interlock.
upside
It's-
down, and it's
Yeah, and then they.
Right.
Yeah.
it's just fun to say orally, you know?
Yeah, it is.
I am not mature enough for this conversation. I'm just not.
I think you were the appropriate level of mature for this conversation. You're fine.
We've got a good episode for you today. I don't know how many 69 jokes we're going to make today, but there's probably
At
going to be a
least a
few
couple
more.
more,
But we have a great episode. I wanted to talk to you guys today about some stuff that we talk about kind of in passing all the time. We talk about food tremendously on this show.
Us?
Because, yeah.
I'm sitting next to a 10-pound bag of gummies.
It's not 10 pounds. It's like a pound, isn't it? How big is it?
Approximately 2-ish pounds.
Oh, 2 pounds of gummies.
Right.
It was Mike's birthday, and I saw...
It was Mike's birthday. Michael, happy birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, so how old are you now? Like
Not
22?
69.
He's
Well, not
finding his fit
69.
at 43?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
Yeah, all right. So Mike just had a birthday, and so I got him some of his favorite things. As most of you who are regular listeners know, he is a gummy fanatic.
He's 97% gummies.
That's true.
He
Yeah.
is.
The rest is all muscle, but
And like peanut butter.
Yeah,
right.
And 2% peanut butter, and then 1% muscle. That's what he is.
That's it.
That's what he is.
just an amorphous blob, barely supported by 1% muscle.
Perfect.
So I found some
Sexy.
sour gummy wormy things.
Wormers.
Wormers.
Just warming through my heart.
Yeah, there are wormers. So Mike has some gummy worms, but we talk about food a lot on this pod, and the reason we talk about food a lot is because we freaking love food, and it is so vital to your existence that you have to eat it every day.
It literally drives all of your success.
Yeah, literally drives
failure
your whole
in
body,
many ways.
like everything. So I know we use the term macronutrients a lot, and we talk about the main macronutrients that we talk about all the time are fiber, protein. Well, protein, I guess I should have said first, huh?
Fiber
all right.
doesn't really count, but go ahead.
Yeah.
We started counting fiber
Yeah,
as kind of a
we-
macronutrient. You're
I
right.
said-
It doesn't generally count.
I
but
said
it does,
that we talk about.
Right.
Yes.
Yes, that we talk about.
It just felt weird that you started with it. But go ahead.
I know.
That was a
because
little odd.
It was on my brain. It
I
was
feel like
on
it
my
should be
brain.
the dead last one.
The dead last one. So, but I'm just using them as examples. But we talk about the macronutrients all the time of the things that you need for your
Macronutrient
body.
is Greek for big nutrient.
See, that would have been a very vital point to have video because we both stared at you in just such a way. Much like we were during the beginning of this episode. So I wanted to talk about something that we throw in passing, micronutrients.
Which is Greek for
I was actually about to ask you, what's that Greek for, Mike?
small nutrient.
Itty bitty nutrients. Teeny tiny nutrients.
So I looked it up today, I looked it up the other day and was...
He looked it up in
according
his
to-
research over the last
in
week.
my research that I've been doing. According to the Harvard Health, there are about 30 micronutrients that are considered essential for your body that your body cannot produce on their own regularly.
Ooh, do me a fascinate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not
is
going to name all them
correct.
because I don't know what they all are. But I wanted to go over some of them. Because like I said, we say micronutrients all the time. I've said this when we were talking earlier. Mike has said it and been like, hey, there's these macronutrients. And then I usually eat like this because they're better micronutrients. But what does that mean? What are some of the micronutrient things that are out there that we should be concerned with?
I'd also like to talk about what foods have these micronutrients that I should probably be
All
consuming.
right, we can do that too.
Absolutely.
We can absolutely chat about that. But one of the biggest micronutrients that I saw that is one of the most, not biggest, but one of the most common things that people know about but haven't really thought about is vitamin C is one of them because you know what happened. Most people know what happens if you don't have enough vitamin C. Do you guys know what it is?
Like get scurvy and
Scurvy,
die.
yeah.
With the pirates, exactly. That's one of the most common things about micronutrients, but there's a whole lot of micronutrients that do similar things that when you don't have enough of it, it causes issues. So I have looked up a bunch of different things about micronutrients. Here are, according to Harvard Health, micronutrients that work towards immune function.
Ooh, that's important.
There are 5 main micronutrients, according to Harvard Health, that work towards immune function. Can you name me them, Michael?
Probably. I would say D is going to be in there. Zinc is going to be in
was
D
there.
gonna
is
say
not
zinc.
in there.
Really?
Is zinc in there?
Well, the
Zinc
list is already
in
off.
there.
Vitamin C is in there?
Vitamin C is in there.
Magnesium?
There's
What
5
about
of
vitamin
them.
A?
There's not enough
Is
vitamin
magnesium?
A. Magnesium is in there.
Okay.
For immune function, you have 3 of the 5.
Okay, two more. Are any of them off the wall, not your normal ones?
I
Iron?
Not. No.
Damn it. K?
Potassium?
No.
No,
No.
not potassium, vitamin K.
No.
Okay. It's more heart health
I
anyways.
knew it.
Yeah.
K.
I was just checking.
I'm just saying.
All right.
Okay. So you've gotten vitamin C.
Ooh, copper? Manganese.
Ooh, manganese, good one.
No.
Magnesium.
Yes.
Where you said magnesium?
I already said magnesium, yeah.
When did you say magnesium? I didn't hear magnesium.
Initially, and you're
before.
like, magnesium is one. You said that to me.
Oh, then that's one. Oh, so
Roll
zinc,
the tapes.
zinc, magnesium, and vitamin C. Yeah, those are the
Yeah.
3 you got.
Yeah.
Vitamin E
Oh, E.
Oh, E, that's right.
and B6.
Oh, just the
the old
6.
B.
How come there's so many B's?
So many B's.
Do they go into that? Did we just
I'm
we
not really
forgot
sure.
that we didn't think there was going to be more, and we just kept going with C, D, and E,
Maybe
and
we
then
could do some
B
research
is a
and figure out
semi-complicated
what they
one,
are.
and I don't know if I'd have to look deeper whether or not they're all so related that they've made them in B's and sub-B's, essentially.
B's
Some of
and
the B's
sub-B's.
have separate names completely.
To be
In
or
fact,
not
probably
to
all of
be?
them do. But they could also
one.
potentially
Good
just
one,
be
Victor.
named something completely else and still do the same function.
So some of the foods, we were talking about
Yes.
foods. So these are the 5 that are for immune function: the B6, the C, E, magnesium, and zinc. Which we all know vitamin C is good for immune. They tell you.
Do they tell us like more specifics about them?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm gonna go into what thing, but I didn't know vitamin E, B6, and the zinc I've heard of. That's pretty good. I've heard zinc and vitamin C, but I didn't know magnesium
your cold
either.
faster.
Oh yeah, magnesium is way more important than most people give it credit for.
Yeah,
because your heart runs off of you know me. I like to go ultra simple for a lot of things, but your heart kind of runs off electricity. Your electrolytes can help with the electric functions of the heart, and if your heart magnesium levels in your system change by like a super small percentage, 0.01, and don't quote me on that, but it's a tiny percentage, then you could die. So what your body does, if you don't get enough magnesium in your diet, it will leach it from bones and other tissue to maintain that insanely delicate balance just for your heart to function.
You know, what's interesting, I was sick as a dog this last week, and I was like super dehydrated.
Yeah.
Speaking of electrolytes. And I did go to the urgent care at one point, and at the time I had finally gotten like a bit more hydrated, and she was like, well, I'm not super concerned. Your heart rate seems good. And I was like, I don't know why that's related. But now I understand why that's related.
Electrolytes, yeah.
I was like, okay. I was like, cool, so I'm not dead. That's important, I guess. Thank you, man.
You mean my heart could stop beating if I'm dehydrated?
Yeah, she didn't tell me that part.
She didn't tell me that.
Didn't tell me that
I
part.
almost died.
It's funny, too, the things that'll
Wasn't
creep
aware.
up as like one of those danger thoughts, but think about the levels of dehydration people have gotten to.
Yeah.
And like
I was thinking about that a lot because I was like, I was just really struggling to stay hydrated. I was so sick, and my head was like fucking killing me. And I was like, I don't think I would make it like in a desert situation without water. I just would not.
The body
make
is
it.
an amazing mechanism, and
gonna say,
it will rob Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah.
Great phrase.
And it's
so it'll
amazing
take it
how
from
adaptive
elsewhere.
You say that. Sorry, Mike. I cut
you're
you off
fine.
there.
You
But
always
say
do,
it,
but
I do. I know. I
accustomed to
can't
it.
help it, and I just keep going. I say I'm sorry, and then keep going.
sorry,
like
but
that's
fuck you.
better. Yeah, that's essentially. I mean, it's how my brain works, man. But you said about you wouldn't make it in a desert thing. I feel like the body's just so adaptive.
I think if I lived in a desert, my body would adapt to it. But I feel like if you just like dropped my ass in a desert and left me there and there was no water, I don't know if I would make it.
I don't think anybody would make it. Like that.
John Wick did.
Dude, I was like, my head was hurting, and I'm like, I'm sitting on the couch surrounded by Pedialyte and water, and my head is killing me. Like, what would I do?
I don't know how those people in the desert do it.
How are they doing it?
Yeah, I mean, there is definitely an acclimation and adaptation process. You know that from getting used to just being in the
Everything.
heat summer-wise,
Yeah.
or doing cold therapy, how quickly you end
don't
up
know anything
adapting to
about
that.
that.
Actually, yeah, all the cold therapy. Woo.
You had 10 days of cold therapy. You did great.
Thank you, Michael.
You're very welcome.
So you
awful.
adapted, right?
So the body does
It was a
adapt
forced
for sure.
adaptation.
Yeah, but was it as
There was
bad
like
by
some
the
trauma
end?
involved. No, it wasn't. I mean, I just knew it was going to be cold every time. We weren't.
The worst part is really the initial
and
getting
it was nice
in.
out, so it was like I could get out and get
That's
into the
true,
sun
yeah.
immediately, and I was like, that's
Once
what I
you're
live for.
actually in the cold tub and you get past that first 45 to 60 seconds of fight or flight, you do find this sense of calm and peace. And while you're not insanely happy, it does. You do find this kind of zen moment where things do calm down, and all you can think about is the breathing and the cold, and it's very meditative. But
So
that
what you're
initial
saying
shock
is-
to the system sucks ass.
So what you're saying is your body gets used to that while robbing your joy from you.
Yes,
Is that how
yes.
that works?
I
Okay,
mean,
that's good.
you
All
see,
right.
I see.
So it's,
You did
you've
that
gotta
in
use-
jest.
It
and
uses your
you're not wrong.
happiness that you had
You're
to
not
keep
wrong,
you alive.
but you
Oh, okay,
re-find
yeah.
joy in the moment, and then you get
Yeah.
out and you're cold, and then you lose the joy again. But then
Yeah.
it comes back when you realize how energized you
Joy
are.
is so
It's
fleeting.
fascinating.
It is.
Fleeting the joy.
So
Such
here's
a
some
fickle
foods
bitch.
Yeah, talk to me
that go
about
with these
foods.
vitamins.
Yeah.
Let's see if you guys can guess any of them.
Okay.
Vitamin B6. What do you think? Some of these were weird for me. They only list a couple. There's like 4 or 5. I'm sure there's way more foods than these.
Well, I don't
But,
know if
like,
our guesses are wrong then.
I would
Yeah.
say your leafy greens and veggies.
No. Well,
B6.
yeah. B6, according to
I hope it's
again
something
Harvard
delicious
Health,
like a steak.
is in chicken,
Ooh, I like
Oh,
chicken.
that's a meat one. Okay, all right.
cereals,
I love cereals.
bananas,
Love a banana.
Oh shit, yeah.
pork loin.
Victor.
I don't know why pork loin has to be
Different from the.
regular pork, but apparently pork loin because
Because
very
it's a
specific.
less fatty meat. I'm assuming.
Maybe, I don't know.
Some of the fattier
And-
meats you end up getting vitamin E from. It's usually beef.
potatoes
Potatoes?
with the skin.
Oh.
I love the skin. of
I do
those
too.
baked
I'm a big
potatoes.
I
skinny
mean, I
guy.
also like the skin, but you know, like
If it's cooked
I-
appropriately.
Yeah.
Baked potatoes and little sour cream and salt and pepper, and I like eat the whole
As
thing like a
someone who has
taco
eaten-
almost.
No.
Like just the whole.
I do like big baked potatoes, but I like it
when.
when they're chopped more
hate
and
you guys.
roasted, and you get like a decent seasoning in the
I
mix.
like that too,
So you get,
but
yeah.
I've
baked
literally
potato,
eaten like
so good.
broth, noodles, and crackers for the last week, and now you guys are going to start talking about potatoes.
What I'm
We're gonna
thinking is
talk about
going to
all types
happen
of
here is the
potatoes.
more we talk about it and getting you in this comfort zone, the more your body's going to acclimate to the idea of having these delicious foods, and it's going to say "fuck you" to the last remnants of the virus,
yeah.
and you're going to be able to eat.
Not sure that's how that works. I'm not sure.
See, the key phrase there was "you're not sure."
Yeah, that's fair.
Not a doctor.
Vitamin C. This is
a
an
doctor.
easy one.
Ooh, oranges.
Which one?
Fruits in
Vitamin
general.
C.
Oh, yeah,
I think
yeah.
strawberries have huge vitamin
Citrus.
C.
Anytime it's
Any
citrus
citrus
fruit.
is going to have it. Yeah.
The
Tomatoes
things
too, I think, have vitamin
Yeah,
C.
that's what I was going to say. There was a couple things in here that I didn't that they posted.
Hate a
that-
tomato.
Tomatoes, sweet peppers,
Like
and
the red
broccoli.
ones? Ooh, I
Yeah,
like broccoli.
broccoli's got a good amount of
Yeah,
micros.
apparently I was not aware.
the-
Vitamin E.
Okay.
This one I will be very impressed if you.
It's in beef. Like
That is
grass-fed,
not-
grass-cut. That's because it's not commonly really known. That we've talked about this before when it comes to push people away from organic protein powders, because what the difference between the organic and beef wise, and then how it gets to a powder, I think it's oleanic, linoleic. I can't remember. It's a very favorable fatty acid, and vitamin E is essentially processed out of it by the time it becomes a powder. So all you're doing is paying for the quote unquote organic name at that point, but not getting the benefits of what an organic beef.
Maybe
would have
that's why
been.
it's not on this list then, because they don't want to say beef when it's not always.
And
there.
I get that. Yeah.
So that makes sense.
I don't know. What do you got?
Vitamin E, sunflower seeds and oil,
Okay.
almonds,
Oh.
safflower oil,
So seed oils, basically.
and Mike is so full of vitamin E all the
It's
time.
bullshit. Is it
Dairy
bullshit?
gummies?
Eats it-
You get it in
It's
bullshit?
in gummies. It's
In peanut
no,
butter?
it's in peanut butter.
Ah.
Yeah. So again, that's going to be seed oils, and
Yeah.
that's not what I knew. And I think seed oils over this last, I'm probably say year or so, have been highly demonized.
Does it tell
Peanuts on
you
seeds.
what's the goodness about vitamin E or what all these things do? Does it tell you a little bit?
Well, these are all just based for immune function.
Okay. So
these
it
are
doesn't
all-
tell me like specifically what it. I'm just
No,
curious.
Yeah, that
we
would've
might
been
get there
good.
with some
Yeah.
of this other stuff that I have. But these are just ones that is specifically for immune function, because I felt like immune function is a
I
very,
agree with you.
very
As someone who
It
just
is.
died for a week, I should have been paying more attention to these.
and I don't pay I don't pay attention to any of this stuff. We say
Yeah.
micronutrients
Also, I don't
all the
think I
time.
eat
And
any
I'll
seed
circle back
oils.
around when we get through
That's
these.
the one thing that I took out of this too. I was
Yeah.
like, vitamin E. What do I eat? That because I don't even eat. I know you love peanut butter. I don't even eat a ton of peanut
I don't
butter
either.
personally.
You
'Cause
don't,
it's so
yeah, but you also
high.
don't need to eat a ton just to get the vitamins. So everything but vitamin C and B are fat soluble. So your body will store these things as you take them in
that's
fat
good
stores,
news.
so that you can then get back around to them.
So I have another list. This one is from the Linus Pauling Institute out of Oregon University.
I love Linus.
And I know his blanky's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So I went right there with you, Mike. So
My dude.
This one gives you how much of everything you need, and it's all in milligrams.
It is, yeah.
It's not even in grams. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
such a fine
Well,
amounts
that's
of all of
the
this stuff that you're-
micronutrient then
Yeah.
takes on a little bit more zone because you're taking in a decent calorie hit for most of your macronutrients. Some of these are done in milligrams to micrograms, and so they are small doses to
But
give you what you need.
What's crazy to me on this is there are like this list on the Linus Institute. It brings up a lot of these micronutrients. It has a lot more micronutrients other than the ones that I'm mentioning here, and the amounts that you need vary per men and women, but they also vary for women versus like regular and pregnant.
Oh.
Yes.
And breastfeeding.
Regular.
Macronutrient
existing and then
recommendations are
existing
different for
Regular
every human.
and pregnant.
Regular and prego.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I end up having to actually adjust pregnant women's and post-pregnancy breastfeeding females' protein intake and calorie intake as well. Now, the typical you just burn a blanket 500 extra calories breastfeeding a day isn't quite accurate, but you do have greater protein needs.
Yeah. You have a greater, sometimes you have less. Like in this, which one I was just looking at. Some of them, you have to take in less than what you did when you were.
And so I wonder if
regularly. I
they're
don't remember
more
what it is.
concerned about storing too much of the vitamin and then poisoning the baby to a
I have
certain
no
extent,
idea.
which
And
is
some of
just
these too,
weird.
on this list, this is the part that kind of blew my mind too, was a lot of these amounts of everything you need. It's so, not controversial, but like not everybody agrees with
Right.
the
Because
levels of anything.
There's been a lot of science out there
that goes both ways.
No. So
That's what I've read. Is that
here's
what
the
it says?
problem with studies is there are
Yes.
some poorly done studies that can show something, and somebody's like, "Well, this is the study, and this is the research." And there's a study on the other side that was done very, very well that shows on the opposite side of the spectrum. So you can't take single studies all the time. Like it's fun to see a study and see how it was done, and then you'd be like, "Well, okay, here's some confounding factors in there," or they didn't have enough people, or there was trained versus untrained, and there was no placebo, there was no blind. So you want to take a meta-analysis, which is a bunch of different studies to find correlating facts that went with them, and that's how we tend to get better and better evidence. So let's go to vitamin D. What is the RDA of that? Which RDA is recommended daily allowance.
Let's see. The vitamin D.
I'm going to guess it's about 2 grams.
Vitamin
D.
Vitamin D.
D.
I'm going to guess 2,000.
600
600?
IU. Whatever IU means. I don't know what IU means.
What's that on the bottom? It says 2,000 IU.
So
from-
that's what else I was going to get to, which this is what I didn't finish. So it has it broken down by that. But the difference is these are what the recommended are, and then this is what the Linus Institute recommends. They're different things because they have found in different studies or the way that they put
Interesting.
data together how much different it is. But the dramatic difference is in adults, this says 600 IU. According to the Linus Institute, it says 2,000 IU.
Correct.
That's quite the varying
That's different.
difference.
And
Yeah.
also, they've found studies have shown that that's too low. So I recommend 5,000 IUs for the
What is an
average individual.
IU?
It's a microgram, I believe. It's similar
not
to
sure.
micrograms. It's smaller than milligrams.
I wasn't going to bring
So
up the
tiny.
measurements at all, but Mike.
Oh,
started
actually, it's not
bringing up the
micrograms,
measurements,
but like 2,000 IUs is like 125 micrograms or something like that. There's a weird transition, but they're smaller than milligrams. So they.
It's an international unit usually used to measure fat-soluble vitamins. The conversion of IU to milligram varies depending on the nutrient.
Fascinating.
That's super helpful.
Not at all.
So-
how do you measure that? That's so dumb.
There have been studies upwards of 5,000 to 8,000 IUs of vitamin D, and vitamin D controls like a tremendous amount of DNA markers and has a tremendous amount of health benefits. So I tend to recommend 5,000 IUs of D in a very important supplement. That's
I'm not mature enough for these
vitamin D
conversations.
injections.
All right, for vitamin D, 40 IU. 1 microgram of vitamin D is 40
About
IU.
40 IU.
400 IU of vitamin D is 10 UG. So
I think you're just making up letters over there. You're just randomly. saying-
University of Georgia.
Yeah, got you.
Oh.
It's fascinating.
So I have more to talk about vitamin D later.
does it
I was
tell
going
me
to bring
about
that up.
vitamin E?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Vitamin E, you said? Hold on, we'll get there.
Okay, sorry.
Let me finish here.
Just a question.
So the vitamin D I want to get to later in a little bit.
And that's
So
fine,
we'll
but
go
I
on a
wanted to
little
check
bit.
another couple of the ones because I have
Okay,
a
we'll
list
get-
of.
Okay,
Let him
we'll
run
get
his
there. We'll
episode.
get there.
No,
we'll
I
get there.
will. I'm just putting an overarching thought process so we can keep it in our think tanks.
Your think tank does not stop
it
thinking.
leaks.
My think,
Your think tank is
my
leaking.
think tank runs deep and it does leak.
It's
It's
leaking.
leaking. So anyway, let me quickly then go through instead of making you guys guess on these since Michael's getting restless.
I have so much knowledge trying to pop out of my think tank.
So there's also the magnesium. Magnesium is found in whole wheat, legumes, which I don't know why they put peanut butter and then not legumes earlier because that's
Peanuts are,
peanut is.
I guess so, but I don't think they have like the
I
same
guess
goodness.
so.
It is, but I don't think it has the same goodness as like other beans and other legumes.
No, it definitely doesn't.
Peanuts are like
Well,
kind of the
Well, according to
the ugly
magnesium, has whole
stepkid
wheat,
there.
legumes, nuts, and seeds. There's have magnesium. Zinc is found. This one is found fun because I enjoy oysters, and there's like a lot of zinc in oysters.
Really?
It's found in red meat too, isn't it?
Beef shank.
Oh.
Apparently, it matters what part of the beef.
That's interesting too, because you think
Alaskan
muscle is made
king
of muscle
crab.
is made of muscle.
Yeah.
But,
Ooh.
Alaskan king crab
all right,
This
well,
is
who
zinc?
can't afford that?
and turkey, but the dark meat
Yeah.
Interesting.
of turkey you can find zinc
That's
in it.
usually when I think of beef
so
too. I'm
if
thinking
I
of
don't
fattier
eat
cuts.
meats, which I do, by the way,
No, I know
just in
you do,
case
yeah.
anyone is out there
Where do
thinking
you
I
get
don't.
this
yeah, where the
stuff
fuck are
from?
you getting your zinc from? Like, just something
so I don't know
You're
if I-
having a supplement for the most part. No, he said in wheat though too. You're just going to get it
wheat.
in less
Oh,
amounts.
whole wheat,
Well,
yeah.
I do like wheat.
So you asked earlier, Chrissy,
doesn't?
what these
Wheat.
vitamins do. Like,
Yeah,
we'll
I
break down.
kind of would like to know.
So here's some of it. Here,
Okay.
we'll start with the zinc.
All right.
It exists in hundreds of enzyme reactions. It assists. Did I say assists?
You did, but
did
I
a
wasn't
little
going to
bit.
call you out. You're
I
fine.
did.
I just thought you were adopting a German accent.
Yeah. For one word. Only one word. That's
Zinc,
it. And then I'm out on the German
assists in
accent. That's all I got.
environment.
It assists in hundreds of enzyme reactions. It assists in hemoglobin production.
Interesting.
It assists in antioxidant enzymes. assists not in. I put in there because there was in the other two. See what I did there?
Yeah, they're fucking you up.
Assists antioxidant enzymes, and it supports immune function, which is what we were talking about.
It also aids in testosterone production too.
This
so
house-
they're covering everything.
This zinc, this is off that line is Pauling. They have other foods here too. They say beef in general, not
They say
shank,
cheese
so I
at
don't
the
know.
end.
It says it says
I also say
milk,
beef in general.
yogurt, cashews, chickpeas, almonds, peanuts, cheese. Yeah,
And dark
so
meat
there
chicken?
are other things. So
Basically meat. And so there's an overarching thing we're going to find too as you go through all these, and we'll cover it at the end, because a lot of I would imagine by this point there are a lot of people that are thinking like, well, fuck, how many things do I have to eat to make sure I get all of these things in, and how much do I have to focus on it? And I'll cover that towards the end. So you just keep doing what you're doing.
Well, I mean, I was going to say kind of my overlapping. I mean, I was going to get to it kind of at the end that as well.
Yeah.
But the kind of idea is like, I'm going to give out so much information on these micronutrients because I became fascinated with it as I kind of went into
Absolutely.
it. And the more I looked at it, the more I'm like, if I just eat right, I don't have to care about any of this stuff
Yeah,
because
exactly.
I will be
You will
there.
touch
That's-
all of
yeah,
these.
and that's-
Basically correct.
And that's kind of
Yeah.
the idea. But I'm also, we've talked about this numerous times. I like to know, and me just
Oh, for
knowing
sure.
has helped me to understand and do the things that I need to.
It also helps you make better, more informed decisions
choices, yes.
as you're choosing food as well.
100%.
And so the vitamins and minerals I tend to use as more of an insurance policy.
Yeah.
And so I'll take those in to cover any nutrition gaps that I
But
that
I was
might
definitely
have.
curious as to, like, again, what Christy said, like, what do they do? What is this?
Right.
Like the vitamin B6, let's go find it. Here it is. The vitamin B6 it supports a wide variety of metabolic reactions. It assists in neurotransmitters, hemoglobin, and
Oh.
DNA production.
Interesting.
And
Yeah.
did you know that there are people out there that can't process B efficiently?
yeah?
Influences
Yes.
what?
All the Bs or
Steroid
just one
hormone
B?
action.
Most of the Bs. So you can get something
I
called...
would think they couldn't process the D, you know what I mean?
Well, some can.
Episode 69.
So B goes through what's called a methylation process. Your body methylates it internally. And so people who have... what's that called? I'll think of it in a second. It's an acronym, but it tends to come along with PCOS symptoms and that's going to drive me nuts.
I'm looking it up, Michael.
Well, you think about it, and I have a question for
it's,
you.
It's
while
an
you
acronym for can't methylate Bs. It's the simplest way to do it.
Yeah, simplest. There's something
So you can
simple
actually
about that.
supplement methylated B, so it's already methylated for you. So people who are not processing that well or have digestive issues that they can't really narrow down, it's worth going in and getting checked for MTFR. It's your MTFR gene.
MTHFR
HFR.
variant.
I always called it the motherfucker gene, but that's not really what it stands for.
Shocking.
My ex-wife had those issues, and you can have a single zygote or double zygote, and it comes with a couple of different confounders. But the overwhelming amount of people have that gene, and males and females can have it, but it's more typically female-oriented. You cannot methylate Bs, and so you have to supplement methylated Bs, and that tends to start fixing
What
a
does
lot
it
of
mean
those
to,
given issues.
to methylate a bee?
It's I guess you're
Body's breaking
attaching
it
a
down?
methane molecule or
okay,
something,
okay,
but
okay.
it's a process that the body naturally has to go to then like ferment your foods and digest and do whatever.
Bodies are so ridiculous.
Oh, they're fucking fascinating.
It is so ridiculous. All right, question.
Yes.
According to the World Health Organization,
Okay.
I said the World Health Organization.
Just kicking out dad jokes all day. I am old.
You are. You
Didn't even have to be a dad.
You are a dad. Teddy is your baby.
That's right. My little teddy bear. It's my little
babe.
cub.
According to the World Health Organization,
Who?
I knew you were going to do it. It still made me laugh. There are 3 main micronutrients that they consider to be the most important on a global public health scale, that a deficiency in these threatens populations. Can you
Fascinating.
tell me what these
right.
3 are?
And it's not vitamin C?
It is not vitamin C.
Interesting.
There are 3.
Shit, I want to say D again.
Of course, you want to say the D.
I do. But is it right?
It is not right.
So there's
There's only 1 vitamin.
Interesting.
Oh, magnesium?
Nope.
A?
Zinc.
Nope.
B.
A is correct.
A.
I mean, A is
okay,
correct.
yeah,
Wow.
okay. A.
All right.
Vitamin A,
B?
which, hold on, let's broke down what vitamin A, or retinol, according to this.
Yeah.
It says essential for normal vision and immune function. Remember, this is on a worldwide, so they're talking. I feel like it's mainly talking about like really impoverished areas. 'Cause
Correct.
it's threatening populations. It's essential for normal vision and immune function. It's needed for cell growth and development. I feel like that's a big
Oh, shit.
piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then carotenoids like B-carotene. I don't know if I said that right. The
Keratin?
Carrot.
Is it Keratin?
No, it's not a K. It's a C.
Okay.
Like whatever. Can be converted to vitamin A by the liver as needed. So if you get B-carotene, can turn it into vitamin A by your liver, apparently.
You trying to say
Fascinating.
carrots?
What?
Well, there is vitamin A in carrots.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah, they're different. So the vitamin A is in beef liver, fortified cereals, eggs, butter, fortified milk, which fortified, I feel like
They're
that's
adding.
processed.
They're
yeah.
adding those.
So therefore,
No? Oh,
Wait,
okay.
what?
Fortified is not processed. It's vitamins and minerals are added
I just
to
said
whatever
that. How did
thing.
you just say no to me?
I
The
said
one
no,
word
I said no to
was
him.
added.
He was louder than you.
Oh.
So my loud no was for him at that
Yes,
point.
but if it's added, therefore it was processed.
Why?
Because how else are they going to effing add it? They're not
You
just
can
going to
add
go,
a-
poof, it's in there.
Yeah, you
like,
can add a vitamin and mineral to anything. Literally anything.
by processing it and
That could be
going
one
through
way,
a
but-
process of adding it. That is a process.
Well,
correct?
true, but you could take a whole natural food and go through the process of cooking it. Is it processed now?
Technically, yes.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't really know what the actual definition of a processed
Well, I mean, I
food
think
is.
we're kind of mincing words at
Yeah.
that point. It's
But I'm saying, like, the reason I'm saying that is because that fortified means there was an extra step.
What he's
added.
meaning is it doesn't come that way naturally.
Yes.
Yes.
True.
And so,
All
in
right, fair
order for
enough.
it to be fortified, it has to go through a process that also costs money. And those processed foods, if you will, that do that are harder to come by on impoverished areas. That's what I'm.
Yeah,
that
like
was
I mean,
my-
that's
kinda my
lovely
thought.
about
Maybe.
all
But
our
let's-
cereals because
but-
our cereals are all fortified.
But let's touch on
Yeah,
flour in
totally.
general. You know, a lot
Yeah.
of people are trying to choose between whole wheat flour and white flour, and white flour tends to be fortified.
Yeah.
And so what happens is
Enriched, if you will.
enriched, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So they're pulling something out during that processing of the flour. You're not having the whole grain anymore, and so they're adding in, you know, vitamin B and
Mm-hmm.
D or E or whatever they're adding to the mix. So a lot of people are simply looking at white flour as worse for you.
Yeah.
When in fact it can have some more vitamins. It's easier
Could
to
have
process
some
than
stuff you
whole
need.
whole
Got
wheats
it.
and grains and things like that, and it's cheaper.
But whole grains super important.
Oh,
I've noticed
absolutely.
in all this, there's like a lot of extra micronutrients in
Absolutely.
whole grains.
Interesting.
So the three that were in here that
Yeah, go
you
ahead.
guys did not get, you got vitamin A.
we did. We nailed that one.
You're gonna kick yourself when I say this next one.
Oh, man.
Iron.
Oh,
Iron, yeah, it feels
Yep,
right.
yep, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And that's going to aid with females' immune function and being able to give birth and stuff.
that's exactly what I was gonna say. So iron. Do you know what happens from not having enough iron? What is it called?
Anemia.
There you go. I'm pretty sure
No,
you
all
guys
good.
knew
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But that's one of the things. So, and for those of you that don't know, anemia is. Would you like to give a definition of anemia, Mike?
Low blood cell count is generally going to be you're anemic.
Is it no?
All I know is that you have low iron, so I feel like people are like
Low
cold and
iron.
shit.
Iron aids in creating blood. So when you bleed, as in menstruating, that's
Yeah.
why women tend to be
As in what?
anemic. Menstruation,
Oh, I didn't hear the T. I heard menstruating.
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 Okay, got it. All right, we're good. All right. Apparently, we're just insulting everybody's way they say things today. Okay.
I prefer looking
I'm
at
German for
less
one word.
insulting and more
whatever.
poking at a little bit. You know.
But yeah, the anemia, from what I understand, I guess I should probably look that up. Is it the iron is used also in carrying oxygen in your blood, and so it
Regardless of whether or not you have less blood volume, less red blood cells,
Yeah,
less
it has
iron.
less red blood
Yeah,
cells.
it's all
Yeah.
going to be less oxygen is carried. So your thought process on that is correct.
because I was going to say I think I'm also thinking of sickle cell anemia. That's like
Oh, okay.
That's a whole different scenario.
It is a
It
little
is.
different.
That's
I think that
very
might
much
be where-
genetic.
Yeah. I think that's what.
Yeah, so basically, you're not wrong. It's the lack of red blood cells leads to reduced oxygen
Right,
flow
because
in
they
the
carry
body's
oxygen.
organs, and that's why people get all cold and
Okay.
miserable.
So, iron, super important. You can find iron in beef, fortified cereals. Again, the same kind of deal.
Yeah.
Meat's hard to come by with that, which makes sense why iron is one of those things
Yeah.
in impoverished areas.
Ooh, is
Meat
iodine
and
one?
fortified. It is.
Ooh.
That is the last one, iodine.
I tie that in with the red blood cells.
Uh-huh.
Because you have thyroid function.
That's
and,
an iodine component of thyroid hormones. Yep. It's in,
so
again,
educated.
cod, iodized salt, potatoes with skin. I feel like that was a little bit easier to get potatoes with skin.
Yeah.
But milk, shrimp, turkey, navy beans, like all of it.
Yeah.
Basically, it tends to
Expensive
be
stuff.
seafood that will naturally give you most of the iodine. So cultures and places that don't eat a lot of seafood would find that they're more iodine deficient. And having
Feels
healthy
like a
thyroid
lot of
function
those
is
foods would
insanely
be hard
important.
to come by if I was like in an impoverished nation.
Well,
And I
which
think
is
that's why
why
they
way
consider
back in
those
the-
three are going to be
Yeah.
and they're so necessary.
Yeah.
Component of
Oh my God,
thyroid
yeah.
hormone.
Oh, it's
iron
huge.
does iron, as we just said, with anemia is one of the things, but it's also a component of hundreds of enzymes. What? Sorry, I read that
Enzymatic
weird.
processes and such. Yeah.
Needed for synthesis of hemoglobin. This is what we were just talking
Yep.
about. That's
Yep.
where it goes with the red blood cells. Assists antioxidant enzymes, and it's required for synthesis of DNA, which again, that's another one of the population growth and
yeah.
things. That's why that's so important.
And if you're fucking up synthesizing your DNA and stuff, what kind of things can start to ramp up?
Yeah, 100%. So I found that really interesting that those three, according to
is.
the World Health Organization, are what threatens populations of
Yeah, it's
people.
very
Did you
Interesting.
know the lack of iodine is why they start kicking out iodized salt, and that's why that's so widely put out
Use,
there?
Yeah.
It's
You know-
because a lot of people season their food. That's a way of getting iodine in the system when people weren't eating enough fish or whole foods that are
Totally
providing
makes
some iodine.
sense. I've actually thought about that recently. I switched away from iodized salt. I don't use table salt pretty much at all.
Yeah.
I hadn't been for a little while. I wasn't using it at all.
We really don't use it at all either.
I
Yeah, I
don't-
was using
I don't
kosher
tend to
salt for
add
everything
extra-
because
yeah.
it tastes so much
I
better.
like
It
sea
makes your
salt
food-
too. Yeah.
Sea salt.
Yeah, sea salt's great too. I have that too. But for the most part, I use kosher salt because it's way cheaper than sea salt for the most part too. So I was using it a ton, and then I realized there's iodine in the iodized salt, and I need that. Maybe I'll just start using a little bit.
Well,
and
do
so,
you,
like
do you
on
eat
some
seafood
things,
or no?
do I eat seafood? I do eat seafood. I'm sure there
one,
are other ways.
One or two times a week,
but
I believe, is enough to
I
kind
don't
of
think
get
I eat it
enough
that
iodine.
often.
How
I don't
much
think
is
I
the
eat it that often.
recommended iodine there?
Iodine. This is a completely different measurement. It's
It's
not
micrograms?
IUs.
It's UGs, right?
It is UGs.
Remember I
geez.
mentioned that
All right.
earlier? You told me I was just making
So
up
in
letters.
adults, it's 150. Apparently, men and women are the same. It's 150 UGs for the iodine, 220 if you're pregnant, and if you're breastfeeding, it's 290. That's what this says. Those are the recommended.
So I wonder what some of these the average intake in say the Western diet is or Eastern diet, and how much people tend to get of these micronutrients naturally. And that was another point I wanted to make. So you're seeing the wide range that's on that site. I think when it comes to macronutrients and micronutrients, a lot of the numbers we've seen that science has kind of kicked out has been what's going to keep you alive, not. And what we tend to focus on is what's going to keep you thriving and athletic and able
Same thing-
to get stronger.
Because we talk about
et
that with
cetera, et cetera.
protein. What's the level of protein that's technically keeps you alive? Like
Oh my God!
40
Like,
grams.
So it's
point, like
interesting. They have-
0.3
they
or
have-
0.4 times your body weight or
Yeah,
something like
it's
that.
They
something
have a
insanely
few
low.
things. So they say recommended dietary allowance,
Yep, RDA.
adequate intake,
Oh, nice.
estimated average requirement, and the tolerable upper intake level.
I like that.
So they've kind of like hit 4 different
Yeah.
levels
like that.
of. Very
So,
interesting.
so the couple of things that I take therapeutic doses on, this is what I tend to recommend, is vitamin C, because you can't really take too much of that. Your body will pee it out, and or you'll find yourself a little bit of diarrhea. But
Wait,
that's on
what?
the way upper limit. Vitamin C?
No, sorry. I was
Oh.
reading. I'm sorry.
Gotcha. It's all good. It's all good.
So I didn't even hear what you just said because I read this thing. So on iron, it says there's a little asterisk here under men on what because it says they should have about 8 milligrams. That one's just a normal standard thing. Women 18, pregnant women 27 of iron. Breastfeeding only 9 milligrams of iron if you're breastfeeding.
That's interesting.
Adults over 50 should be 8 milligrams. But it says men and postmenopausal women should avoid taking iron-containing supplements. Why would that be?
Men and
I got nothing.
postmenopausal women.
Because they're like men? Is that
Oh,
what that is?
well, postmenopausal women aren't bleeding anymore. Again, we just
I
discussed
guess
how.
the whole thing is about bleeding. You're not bleeding when you're
Correct.
breastfeeding, I guess, yet either. Like
Oh,
you
but
haven't-
why should
that's a
you-
good point too.
you
yeah.
haven't.
We're not either while you're pregnant, but maybe you're trying to store enough so that you're not taking in excess when the baby's there, because the baby doesn't need to get blasted with a
Maybe.
shit ton of
Well,
iron.
it's- no, pregnancy, it says while you're pregnant, you're supposed to be taking 27
That's
Yeah,
my
milligrams.
that's what I'm
point.
trying to figure out. Why would it be so high while you're pregnant? But
Because
then-
she's going to take that into her
But I think
tissues. There's a barrier
maybe.
between her and the baby blood wise.
Also, maybe it's because you're growing the baby, so you need the extra iron.
Yeah.
But then once you've had the baby, Now you're not menstruating yet, so you
Right.
don't need the extra
Yeah,
iron.
because you don't menstruate while you're breastfeeding, correct?
I don't know how long it takes until you start menstruating again.
Yeah,
but
I
know
don't
it's
think while
not,
you're
it's not
breastfeeding, you're not
immediate.
No,
menstruating, I think.
I think you are.
It's not
Maybe
immediate,
you are.
though.
I'm not.
Because women have had babies within a year after having their first baby, and
Yeah,
that means
that's
you're
true.
starting pretty
But
quick.
that doesn't mean that they breastfed immediately. If they didn't breastfeed their child, then it starts
We need to
quicker.
look that up. I'm pretty sure
I don't
you,
know how
you
that
start
works.
the ability to have more babies very
But it
quickly
makes
after
sense that
having
women
a
are
baby.
getting more. But yeah, I don't know why you don't. That's very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we'll do a child. We'll do.
Right, so
an
while you're looking
episode
that
on
up, I
I'm
wanna
not
touch-
looking it up because
Oh,
I mean,
somebody look that up. But
it
while
is,
while
but-
somebody's is or is not, I want to touch on the vitamin C again. 'Cause
Yeah.
this brings me off to the whole collagen protein movement.
Okay.
And a lot of people are still selling and or buying into collagen protein. And the studies have shown that collagen protein, they did studies where they had the group supplement with collagen protein, and they had the group study with take in whey protein supplements. And then they measured connective tissue protein synthesis. And they found that the collagen protein did not stimulate connective tissue protein synthesis more than whey protein. Like neither one of those really kicked that up. And so that's what they tend to advertise a lot for that. And then they'll do skin and hair and nails. When the fact is, if you have enough protein, whole protein sources, and enough vitamin C, your body has everything it needs to provide its own collagen, take care of hair, skin, nails, et cetera, and rebuild what you need to rebuild.
yeah, I've seen ads where it's like, you have bones, right? You have connective tissues. You have joints, right? Yeah, you want to take care of them with collagen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And it's a horseshit marketing scam. The science is not there on that, and you're going to be able to save your money by
'Cause
getting a lot
collagen
more
is
whey
way more
protein. It's so
expensive.
much more expensive.
Like way more.
Because people want to look good, feel good, age well, and it really comes down a lot to looks. And I found I've aged better by I take 3,000 to 5,000 milligrams of vitamin C daily, and then I get
Wow,
adequate.
that's a lot.
I get
If
adequate
you
protein.
breastfeed exclusively, so this is it depends.
Yeah.
You might get it as soon as 2 weeks after. Usually it's 6 to 12 weeks, but if you're exclusively breastfeeding, it may not return for several months or 1 to 2 years if you keep
if you keep
breastfeeding.
that's what I thought.
Yeah, but that's going to be the extreme scenario. There are women out there, plenty of them, who have had babies while breastfeeding still because they're still pumping out kids.
Almost everyone who is
depends.
fully breastfeeding their babies will be free of menstrual periods for 3 to 6 months or longer.
Okay.
So I think that's the situation. If you're not breastfeeding, it's going to come back faster.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and I believe that. That's fine. There's a time
Because there was a big push, especially in the 80s when formula came out, was like nobody breastfed. Like it was the thing to like go
Yeah.
immediately on to. So it was way more common, I feel like. I have no scientific basis behind any of this.
No, this
but
is
everybody that I
observational
know,
purely. We're not digging.
Yeah, everybody that I know who are, what do they call them? Irish twins that are within a year of each other.
I've never heard that term.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
My
Irish
brother and I are a
twins.
year and a month apart.
So we should
A year and 10
call
months
your
from my
mom and
brother and
ask
I.
her. Be like, "Yo, mom. So were you breastfeeding when you got pregnant again? Like, what's the deal?"
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you
mean
should
that's
ask
definitely curious. And the problem I think I find, especially over the last probably 20-ish years when it comes to averages, is the average population is significantly more overweight over the past handful of decades. And so that comes in with a decent amount of health markers too. So the averages are going to change on what is healthy function of the human body and what is just sort of becoming the average now. Does that make sense?
I'm sure it does. I'm half reading while I'm also listening to you, Michael. So
I love that for us
I'm not gonna lie. So here's some of the other micronutrients that I found interesting while we were going through this. Because like, again, I've heard of these, like thiamine.
Yeah.
I have no idea that that's,
part of
vitamin
the
B1.
Bs, yeah.
Oh, the vitamin B's got.
You've also got
Here.
folate is
So
a vitamin
there is
B,
all
which is
these
very
B-
important
Is
for women.
riboflavin?
Yeah, it's vitamin B2.
Riboflavin?
Riboflavin is a
Riboflavin is
vitamin B.
B2.
Yep. There's like 12
Niacin is
Bs.
B3.
Oh.
Pantothecin.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
not how it's
Panthera.
pantotheric. No, what is it? Pantothenic. Pantothenic
Pantothenic
acid.
acid. That's what we just call that one B5.
Yeah, that's
Vitamin
B5.
PB.
Yeah.
We're calling that one B5.
And
We're
then
not gonna say that
B6
word.
doesn't get a cool name apparently.
Oh,
B6
we should give
is
it
cool
one.
enough
What
for
should we
it.
call it?
We should. I don't know. What do you want to call
Take
it?
the S out. Call it vitamin Bix.
Bix.
Yeah.
Done. Biotin is 7. Folate is B9. B12 also does not get a cool name.
Yeah. Which I think the 6s and then 12. The no-name ones have methylation issues.
Oh.
Your what hurts?
Not yet.
Interesting. Okay.
So I thought that was pretty cool. The other thing, so I'm going to get back to, Mike, what you had started to get into vitamin D.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get into vitamin D a little bit more because everybody kind of hears that one pretty often.
They do.
And the reason you hear it is because, how do you get vitamin D?
Generally, the sun.
Yeah. That is one of the main and is a very big way of getting vitamin D. But you know it varies how much you get based off of your skin pigmentation?
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, your skin pigmentation can vary how much sunlight you need.
So I would assume the darker you are, the more it blocks some of the sun's rays, so you get less vitamin D?
I think so. I'm pretty sure that that's how it works, is because I also, as I was doing all this micronutrients, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the vitamin D, and it led me into the sunlight, looking at sunlight, and I found out the human body need for sunlight in general is so much more dramatic than I thought. Like, I did not realize how much we need
it
and what we need it for.
Yeah.
Like, take some guesses. What do you guys think what occurs with sunlight, or that sunlight does for you, other than vitamin D?
Helps regulate circadian rhythm.
Your what hurts?
I think
That's actually one of the big ones.
Yeah.
that's gotta be a big one. Well, what's
That's the
interesting,
one
and
that I didn't realize.
So
I
I've
don't
read
know
one
if
of the
this is
first things
even
you should
gonna
do when
be
you
one of
wake
them,
up
but I
is
feel like
go walk out in the sun.
Yes,
I feel
that's
like
what I was going
it
to
makes
say.
a big difference for like, just like my general happiness, like the way that I
my
feel.
God,
yes.
is
That
like
seasonal depression is a real thing, and the more
for
you
sure.
if you find yourself even stuck
I
inside,
hate
I'd
this
imagine you
time
get
of
some
year
of that.
because
But I
there's
didn't
not
know
fucking
why.
any sun.
I didn't know why.
tell
I
me.
felt that way too. So it is recommended to get 5 to 15 minutes early in the morning sunlight. The reason is because exactly what Mike had just said, but I'll say it in less big words. Basically, it's like I saw a video of a guy talking about it, and he basically said that think about walking into a room with a ton of alarm clocks, and they're all set at different times. He goes, that's how your body is. When you go out in the sun, it sets all those alarm clocks at the same time, and it puts them all together, and it coordinates your body so that all of the systems, all of your organs and all your systems in your body are now on rhythm together. They're all together. Sunlight does that for you. The other thing it does is it sets the timer for when you're going to have melatonin release to help you fall asleep later. So getting up and getting in the sun right away helps your body be like, okay, in 12 hours from now, it's time to release melatonin because that's when it's time for bed.
Yeah, I think drinking your coffee outside in the morning is the move.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you know,
I don't drink coffee, so no, I don't
I
think
just
so.
recently found this out because I've used melatonin
wrong.
for a while. I started using it again. Melatonin is actually a very powerful antioxidant, and it's one of those things that you don't. It's not addictive. So if you find that you're in front of blue light too often, and especially towards the end of the night, or you're having a hard time winding down, melatonin is a phenomenal damn supplement, and it's best taken sublingually because there's something with how it processes through
Like a drop
the liver
under
a
the
little
tongue
less efficient.
situation?
I do the dissolvable one.
Okay.
That tastes pretty good, and I just leave it under my tongue until it dissolves.
Okay.
Yeah, and so the reason we were talking about the happiness part,
Yeah. Why am I so? Why does it affect my happiness?
it increases your serotonin and dopamine.
Yeah,
That makes
there you go.
sense. It does do that for sure.
Yeah. And that's what helps fight off the depression. I've heard, again, so then it made me think about all the things that I've heard in the past and stuff. And in Alaska, they have those really long,
God,
like,
yeah.
darkness periods.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
don't know how
40
people
days
are
of
surviving
darkness or
over there.
whatever. Did you know, I found this fascinating then, and now it makes even more sense. They actually have, during that time, they have light rooms.
Oh,
And so you can go sit in a room that
would
has
have to do
daylight, like, and that basically, so you can just be in there for like an hour in like what feels like daylight because they have such depression issues.
My problem
in
with
that
it.
part
I'd
of the
imagine
world.
they'd have the opposite side too.
also
Probably a dark
have
room for all day times.
That's true. So
Yeah.
you have lots of
Yeah.
sunshine.
I feel like
have
it's easier to have a dark room.
sunlight lamp that's supposed to like mimic the sun to make you happier in the sad times. But the problem is like I do not feel the warmth on my skin, and I don't know why, but like that is important to my
I
brain.
get that.
Like I like
big sensory
I like
thing. I
to
get
feel
that.
the
Yeah.
warmness.
One of the other things that I saw with the sunlight, I don't know exactly how it does it, but apparently it also helps increase your bone strength. Like the-
Because it's
the
giving
strength
me
of your-
vitamin D.
Yeah, I
or
don't know, but it
something?
does. That was one of the other things that I saw in passing.
That's
on that.
interesting. I'd like
Yeah.
to see a study on that. But there's a correlation between vitamin D and vitamin
Calcium.
calcium.
Yeah, that's what I
and
was
that's why you tend
thinking.
to get a
Vitamin
lot
D and
of
vitamin calcium.
vitamin
Vitamin
calcium.
calcium.
Say it's not. It's actually not. It's a mineral. But
Yeah.
Say it's not. It isn't.
So calcium is another important one as well. And a lot of people, there's more and more people these days that are not drawn to dairy. Either they just weren't drinking it much or eating much growing up, or there's that big lactose intolerant movement. It's also the gluten intolerant movement, et cetera, et cetera.
Now, people are lactose intolerant, yeah?
That's
to
like
a,
real
to a
thing,
certain
yeah.
extent, yeah, because of what happened with milk is they started. Oh shit! What's the process? Homogenization is one, but that just makes all the fat in the milk even,
Yeah.
so it's smoother. The other one is where you cook the bacteria out of it. I'm spacing on it.
Yeah.
Pasteurization.
Pasteurization.
Yeah, pasteurization.
Well done. Oh, that's right. Louis Pasteur.
Oh, Louis.
So when they started pasteurizing it, they started murdering the enzymes in milk that actually help you break it down. So there used to be lactase in the milk, which is why raw milk is one of those
They're
really
adding
cool
like
things to have.
lactase into milk now. Have
So-
you seen
Yes,
this?
they
Yeah.
are. That's why my.
Are you
my
a raw milk person?
I would love raw milk. Yeah, I love whole milk. I love raw, but you can't buy raw milk just
they don't.
anywhere. It's
I
illegal.
saw some, because it's like not better for you.
Oh yes, it is.
So where did you see it? So I've seen. Well, okay. So this is another one of
The
those things that
problem
I
is
saw
that
during
it's
this whole
not been
thing.
treated. and
Correct. So if the cow
it's-
has not been taken care of well, you have a chance of getting sick off of that raw milk. That's why it was made illegal for the most
Yeah,
part.
it's like you raised this cow yourself and you're caring for it, you probably could drink its raw milk and be fine. But like the fact that we are mass producing milk,
Right.
For it to be safe for consumption and to sell and for people to not get fucking sued.
Right, and the good thing about like the milk we tend to drink with the Carb Master is you're getting a bigger protein hit. It's a little more calorie friendly where you can make that fit in there a little bit better. So fitness
Like
wise,
I have several friends who are lactose intolerant, and granted, like they grew up in the '90s or the
Yeah.
'80s, and so like milk just fucks them up now. I mean, it didn't always, and
grew
all
up
of a
in the
sudden,
80s. I drank
I know.
milk nonstop.
Well, you're not lactose intolerant, Michael.
Well, I think like you said, I think everybody's a little bit lactose intolerant.
I am
Whether
not
you get a
lactose
little
intolerant,
gassy or a
but
little
I
thrown
have
off.
several friends who are like, and I grew up.
bad.
My cousin
Yeah.
is very lactose intolerant.
Yeah.
We grew up together, and it's like it took us even a while to figure out what the fuck was wrong with her all of a sudden. But they add lactase now
Yes.
but now she doesn't even really drink milk because it's like been years.
Right.
And they
She's
just
not
started
drawn
doing
to
that.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she drinks soy milk and oat milk and a bunch of other shit.
Ew.
But I kind of wonder if she could drink this milk that they're adding lactase to and like be okay.
Well, some are adding lactase to it, and some are just lactose free. I think they
Yeah,
remove
maybe
the lactose.
I don't know what the fuck how they do
the
it.
Fairlife and the Carb Master, I think, is they say lactose free, but you can also just buy lactase enzyme.
I mean,
to
she
take.
does, and
Yeah,
she does.
yeah.
Like, when we eat ice cream and stuff, but like just straight milk.
So
I think
if you're
is
not
so
getting
good.
enough dairy, that's when it's the right time to supplement with calcium.
Yeah.
And again, the RDA for calcium is low. You should be taking in 500 to 750 milligrams of calcium. Same thing for magnesium.
This says 1,000
damn.
What?
milligrams.
No
of
shit.
calcium.
Oh, so
across the
finally
board?
shit's starting to catch up. That's
Yeah,
great.
that's what this says on calcium. So the raw milk thing, I've seen. So according to the FDA,
Yeah.
raw milk does not cure lactose intolerance.
No, it didn't say it did.
Okay, I thought that's where you were leaning with that earlier.
No,
when you were
if
saying
somebody
that.
is legitimately lactose intolerant, then that's not really going to help them that much. But if you're not lactose intolerant, but you have some symptoms of like getting a little, clogged up or not processing as efficiently, it has the enzymes in it necessary to help you break it down. So those people who aren't like severely lactose intolerant or even moderately, you're going to be able to tolerate raw milk a little bit better than just your typical milk that's not lactose free.
And apparently, raw milk. So the other thing is like cows obviously have different immune systems than we do.
What's that mean?
So what we were saying, if you take care of the cow, blah, blah, and you do all that stuff,
Right.
well, the cow can still have diseases and stuff that aren't showing for
yeah,
them.
I mean, I
that
would
you
never
can- that's
drink
where-
raw milk.
Yeah,
To
like
me,
actually
it's not
the
worth
risk,
it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
It's more of like it's not worth the risk of.
But if
what,
I was going to
think-
have to drink raw
Think
milk,
about
I would
how
like it to
humans
come
for
from a cow that I
thousands of
raised.
years were drinking raw milk, and
think
we
about
made it
how
as
they
a
were also
species.
dying
so
in their 40s.
correct, but it wasn't from milk consumption.
Do you know that?
I do. I've done studies back.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like we talk about all these things. Oh, humans were doing this for so long, but they weren't
Yeah.
living till their 80s because we've
No, I know,
removed
but-
all of those things.
but a lot died from
they were so much
infections
tougher
and
back then.
wounds
But
and
you
things
were
like
dead
that.
at 45.
Yeah.
So
If that.
Yeah, exactly. So like all those arguments about well, back in the day they used to do it. I'm like, that's the stupidest argument I've ever heard in my life because the freaking
All right, see, now I feel like you're just calling me stupid on the air. I know
the
what I'm
air.
saying. Do you know how rare it is?
but it's right to your face on the air.
That's
if
true.
that makes any sense.
It's rare that I'll use that as an argument, but this is such a staple in many, many cultures. If there was a big problem with raw milk, that would have shown way, way
I
more
think that
than
raw
it
milk
is.
also has some more. I don't want to say more nutrients, but like I definitely remember
sure
some of
it
my
does.
friends who would get raw milk on the black market on the raw milk.
Yeah.
But FYI, like they knew someone who had cows, and it would
Now
help
that we're
them.
talking about
It
this,
would
I'm going to do
help
way
them.
more research about this, and we're going to talk more about the raw milk thing.
It would
I'm
help
so
them
curious
pack
about
on
it
the
now.
protein.
I don't
Like,
really
I don't
know.
know somehow, but it was like helpful for that. Maybe it was the extra fat that was in it or something.
Probably.
But it like helped him like put weight on so that he could put muscle on.
Well, you bear in mind, like, what drives testosterone production?
Fat.
Your fat intake.
Yeah.
Your fat intake, your fat stores, and a few other things as well. So getting more fat in a diet when a lot of people were essentially
He's
running
like one
away
of those,
from fat.
skinny kids that has a
Yeah.
hard time getting.
So he has a
weight
high
on. So it was,
metabolism,
like, really
moves
helpful
around
for him
often.
to
So
do
yeah,
that,
that's a way of
drink
really
raw
boosting
milk.
the calories, making sure
You ever
testosterone
had goat's
production
milk?
is
Anybody have
boosted.
goat's milk?
I have
No.
not.
I haven't either. I'm always just curious, but like, it could be.
So,
gross.
so
I mean,
getting-
I've had goat cheese. Does that not
it's
count?
made from
think
goat's milk.
that's-
Yeah, I was gonna say, so
but
that
it's
counts,
not drinking.
right?
I think she's
Cheese.
going with what's it taste, drink wise.
Michael, I was gonna make you hold my foot.
Oh, I got you. Boo.
Oh my god!
So roughly fat intakes of about 40%. I think Menno Hanselman put out a study on that. We're keeping testosterone production maxed out, elevated, essentially
Yeah.
for the natural individual.
So going back to the calcium thing, we were talking about how it's in milks, yogurt, cheese. But if you are lactose intolerant and you don't do that, there are other things that you can find calcium in that I was unaware of.
That ain't
I
got
thought
no
it was
milks in
pretty.
'em?
Yeah,
What you
just,
got?
That
just not as abundantly though, right?
Yeah, I mean, maybe not. I don't know. Fortified cereals again. Fortified cereals
I'm
are
just
on
telling
like
you,
all
cereal.
of this.
The lifesaver
Yes.
of the world is cereal.
It is in so many of these
Wait.
things.
What, Michael?
If you're having fortified cereal without milk,
That is weird.
My kids eat dry cereal all the time.
Me too, though. It's fine.
what? Really?
Yeah. You don't. They can't take it in the car. I'm not giving them a bowl of milk to take in the car, but they can
Dry
have
cereal? That fascinates me.
You don't eat dry cereal ever?
ever. You don't just
Negative.
I
snack
like
on-
it as a snacky snacker.
Yeah,
Put
that's
your
what
foot down.
you know.
Oh.
So the other thing, fortified cereals, rhubarb. I love rhubarb. Rhubarb
you?
pie.
Yeah.
Rhubarb. Yeah, you
I've never had
pie?
rhubarb pie.
Me
Oh,
neither.
it's so good.
It doesn't sound like a pie that shouldn't
Spinach.
have.
I love spinach
Doesn't
as
it have a
well.
weird
Not
taste
as
to it?
I love spinach.
I like
I love
spinach.
spinach, too.
I like to call it
Almonds,
spinach.
white
Spinach.
beans,
Spinach.
bok choy. I love bok choy.
Oh, bok choy.
Uh-huh.
What
See,
was the
that-
one before bok choy?
White beans.
Oh, white beans. I like
Kale,
beans.
pinto beans, red beans. So beans,
Beans.
essentially. I
It's
don't know
got
why I
vitamin
didn't
K
just
on
say
there.
beans.
Vitamin K is a really, really important one.
Okay, we'll touch that. That's right
I
above
can't
it.
wait. I'm looking forward to it.
And broccoli has calcium. So there are plenty of other ways to consume.
There are, but they're
Calcium.
not as calcium
Rich?
packed as dairy is going to be.
Yes.
So
I
you'll
get
likely,
it.
unless you're
But-
getting a wide variety of those that are in big doses, you're still going to need to supplement with calcium. Would be my recommendation.
Fine. Understood. Vitamin K
C.
assists in blood clotting. Oh, that's pretty important.
Oh, we like
It's
blood
a big
clot.
vascular
Yeah.
heart blood. one.
Modify certain proteins to allow for calcium binding.
Oh,
So I guess that's necessary with the calcium, huh?
pair them together.
So vitamin K is generally found in big doses in fermented foods. And so in a Western diet, we don't get a lot of fermented foods.
don't.
So it's been helpful starting to
And
supplement
greens,
that as well.
apparently. Kale,
Yeah, and greens,
chard,
but again, just
parsley,
not as
broccoli,
plentiful.
spinach, watercress, leaf lettuce,
Oh, I
and then cashews, peas, soybean oil,
Yep.
canola oil, olive oil, mayonnaise.
Look at that seed oils again, which again, people are still trying to villainize these days. They're talking about seed oils being kind of the devil type thing, and it's just not fact. The studies, the science is not there supporting that.
What? These aren't seed oils.
You just named a bunch of seed oils.
Olive oil is a seed oil?
Yeah. Sometimes. But you named seed oils before
Olives
that.
are not
You
seeds.
just chose olive oil. What did you say before olive oil?
Canola. That's not a seed.
Sure it is. And the one before that?
Soybeans are not
They're seeds, too.
There
They're
is
all
no
seeds.
seed oil in that one. A lot of the other ones have seed oils in. I agree with you. That I agree with your statement that seed oils are being villainized when they shouldn't be.
Right.
But that was not the example to use for the seed.
Well, I was in the middle there somewhere. I just knew you said them. I didn't memorize them as you were kicking them out.
Yes, seed oils, I agree with you. They are villainized for no. A lot of food in general is villainized for no
It is.
reason.
It is.
There are so many people that just want to have that shock on social media, and they want to be like, "Oh, don't eat this thing."
Oh,
I'm
you
like,
mean the,
"Yeah,
the
well,
idiots
don't."
strolling through the grocery
Yeah.
stores,
Oh, I
cooking
hate
shit out.
those.
Oh, that's the worst.
I hate that.
The absolute
man.
worst.
I mean, none of this should be how many people vilify cereals in general? We just
Right.
talked about how much stuff micronutrients are in those cereals. I just had a big old bowl of frosted mini wheats this morning. I love frosted mini wheats.
I do too, actually.
I
Such
really
an
also
underrated
enjoyed
cereal.
like the strawberry frosted mini wheats. Have you had
Just
those?
thinking about
I don't
that.
know
Pretty
if
good.
I've had those.
You got to try them. They're pretty good.
Yeah. I
You like strawberry milk?
I do. I love.
Then you would
who-
love them. Then you would love them.
Yeah.
I do like that. Also,
They make good
coincidentally,
milk.
since we were talking about Ted Lasso earlier, that's one of my favorite scenes is when he first pours that bowl of cereal out, just one big chunk
One
of a
big
mini
old
wheat.
chunk. He's like, what the fuck?
He walked out to Beard and he was like, "Yeah, I'm stuffed. I had a mini wheat."
I don't guess it's not a mini wheat at that point.
It's a whole
It's a
ass
wheat.
wheat.
I had a wheat. I just ate a wheat.
A macro wheat, not a micro wheat.
So
Yeah.
hysterical. Macro. Look at you. Greek for big wheat.
Oh my. Yeah, I love frosted mini wheats. That's one of my favorite cereals.
I'm still a Cinnamon Toast Crunch guy and a Reese's
I
Puffs guy.
do love cinnamon toast crunch. That is
So good.
So
That's-
good.
Well, my
that's just a
cereal's
staple.
fortified. I don't mind what it is.
Yo, I just had the tres leches
I still haven't tried that. All right.
cinnamon toast crunch. Holy goodness!
Really?
I can't buy it because I ate the whole box in like one sitting.
Damn.
It's so good. And since we have the Carb Master, for those of you that are in a Kroger area, they have the vanilla Carb Master. The vanilla Carb Master on the tres leches is so amazing. Like I'm gonna have to go buy it now. It is just so I eat like I said, the box that has not lasted longer than 2 days.
Dang.
I
I
just
think
can't.
the
Even
full-
the big, I bought a family box 2 days.
The full box is 800 to 1,000 calories, so you can fit that in over 2 days and be just fine.
I do.
Yeah, and cereal is
And I don't
low
care whether
fat.
I'm just
it's not
fine.
as
It's
calorie dense as people
delicious.
think. It's
It
just mostly
is
a decent
calorie
carb
dense.
hit.
So,
It is pretty
Michael,
calorie dense.
It's
It's not as calorie
not.
dense. So you also
Depending on the serving size.
The serving
But I
size
also-
sucks.
Right, so have two of the serving sizes. You've had like 320
I still
calories.
feel like the two of the serving sizes
Two
still
is closer
sucks.
to a bowl, but you're right. So,
yeah, two. That's about what I when
I
I
would
do a
like
bowl. It's about
3
two.
servings.
oh, I generally have like 5 servings and a hit.
Yeah,
So I
I
feel
was
you.
going to say when he also says, I feel like you forget this part a lot, Mike. When you're like, it's not so bad, and like it's also reference. It's also reference based
Yeah.
off of what like.
What's your
It's not bad for you to
calorie
fit in at all. It's not bad
allowances?
for me to fit in at all.
Right.
But like. When
hard.
you're eating, what are you? I don't know, 1,800 calories we've talked about is about what you eat.
that's like
She's
if I'm.
half our size, Victor. She needs less calories.
Yeah, but she still wants
But
to
I
eat
tell
as
you
much
that, I
cereal.
can
No,
eat
I know
just
that.
as
Oh,
much
I also
cereal,
want to
you
eat
know?
twice as much as I eat. Like,
Yeah,
we're all
fair,
making sacrifice here,
fair.
people.
I get it.
Oh no.
But that's what I'm saying. So like,
the
yeah,
matter? What
there
happened?
is a lot of reference as to what you look at, and like, it's not too bad. It's easy to do. Like, it is certain people for certain situations. Everybody's situation is
Well,
different.
and I
But-
never say it's easy to do.
It doesn't mean it's impossible. You
Right.
can do it. It is capable.
Absolutely.
It
You
is.
just- you have
You
to-
know what has really helped me lately? Speaking of deliciousness, the thing. Have you guys seen these? There's shakers. I have a Snickers one and a Twix one.
What do you mean? Oh, the powdered
It's
stuff.
like a powdered
Yeah.
shaker. You can
Oh.
add it on the stuff. Like, so I make. We have we talk about the Ninja Creamies all the time. I make the really like awesome for you ice cream that's like 200 calories for a ton of ice cream, and then I take some of that and shake it into the vanilla ice cream with it.
Nice.
Awesome. It tastes fantastic, and I put in like maybe a couple teaspoons of that stuff, so it's like adding like 30-40 calories, maybe
Yeah.
50 max, but I get all the flavor of a delicious Snickersy
Snickers, wow.
ice cream. Or I just found a Twix one too, so I have a Twix and a
I know they have a
Snickers.
cinnamon toast
So
crunch
good.
one too.
They have all types of those. I feel like those are such a hack. Like that's such a
It is. It definitely is.
like it gives you the flavor without the abundance of calories.
So what I found, like the best things that we tend to kick out or make on a regular basis, the key word there is we make them. And so the more often you take the time to pour into something, to pour into yourself, to pour into your health, to pour into your goals, the easier it is to stay a little bit more disciplined. And it's a hard pill to swallow. And it still doesn't fit for everybody, because if you are literally on the go all the time, have multiple kids, I'm not judging anybody. This is just kind of a fact. If you're able to spend the time to put into it, it's a little bit easier to stay on track.
And that's kind of what I'm saying too about all the food, about like cereals. We like stop vilifying food in general. We all have lives that are crazy. If you've got to eat the McDonald's because it's the easiest and it's the only thing that's on the way to soccer practice, I'm using it as
Yeah.
an example because we go to soccer practice right now. Soccer
Absolutely.
season for us and our kids we're at the soccer fields 4 days a week. So on the way there, we've stopped and we've eaten Wendy's, we've eaten
Right.
Burger King. My kids were like, they wanted to. The other day they were trying to talk me in the Crystal, and I was like, yeah, I'm drawing the line.
Like, I don't want to poop myself in
So,
the
so
car.
the thing to
Yeah.
keep in mind, if you are fitting that in, like, again, it's fine to do that. But you have to
Yes.
be aware that if you're going to stop for things like that are a little more calorie dense generally, you're
100%.
going to be able to, you're not going to be able to have as much of that. So now planning other things on the side to take with you on the go, like you can have pre-made shakes to go along with, your one double cheeseburger or
It's like chug
chicken
a
sandwich or
protein
whatever.
shake before you.
That could
I'm
help
still
too,
a
or chug a
protein
bunch of
fan.
water prior to that, and then have
Yeah.
the protein shake for dessert. Like whatever fits
Yeah.
your profile, because I have to finish with something sweet to really feel like
Yeah, I
I've
feel
done
you.
what needed to be done.
I've done what needed to be done.
Yeah, I don't always feel that way, but I
neither,
do.
but at
I
night
use
I
the
do.
elites on the go a lot.
Yeah.
And I will, especially if we're going to eat somewhere like that, like
Right.
a Wendy's or something, I will down or I'll stop at a gas
So you
station.
prefer to
whatever,
do it
grab
on the
one.
front end.
I have
And
to
that's
do it on
fine,
the front
yeah.
end
Me too.
because
It makes-
if I-
You'll be too hungry and you're going to order too much at that.
Yeah,
Yep. Okay.
it like
I see
keeps
that.
me
I see
from
that.
100%.
overeating.
and or I do eat. And like I'll be like, I'll do what I'm thinking, but I'm like, I'm still hungry. I don't really want the shake. I'm
Force
hungry,
yourself
so I
to
want,
eat the
and I'll
shake
get my.
first.
I got
So
you.
if I drink the shake, just down the shake, I'm fuller in
So
general.
you're
and
digging
then I won't
heavily
eat
into
other
that.
stuff.
I'm an adult. I can do dessert first.
Yeah,
I don't look at
And
it as a
that's fine.
dessert.
me too.
I'm
I don't either.
I'm-
I don't think they're that
it's-
delicious. They're
I'm
just.
playing.
I mean,
I
yeah,
wasn't
the-
taking that super seriously. That was a playful comment.
No, I get what you're. Yeah,
I feel
get
like you
what you're
got
saying.
very worked up over vitamins and minerals, Victor.
I was very fascinated by all the vitamins,
I know.
but
No,
on
I
the
love
shape
that.
end, like I don't look at a lot of this stuff as like necessarily as desserts. Maybe I should because that would satiate my cravings for desserts all the freaking time.
Yeah, it sort
Maybe
of
I
makes it
should.
okay in
Maybe
your
you
head
should
to
take the
have
shakers
dessert.
and just right in your mouth a little bit.
Just dry dock it.
I think you could do it. Do
Well,
the
that'd hit the
cinnamon
flavor
challenge,
profile.
but with the shakers.
I love that.
And put
That
it
way you
on
get
air.
none of the calories,
Let's
and
make
we all
Michael
get to
do
enjoy
it,
it.
So I
and we'll,
just spit it
we'll
out every
Make sure
film
you video
Michael as it comes out of his nose.
If it made it to my nose, something has gone very wrong.
Very, very wrong. I will die on that hill. Yeah. Yeah, I really got into the micronutrient stuff. I thought the sunlight thing was super cool.
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't
pretty
realize how
cool.
important it was. Immediately, like you need to get sunlight within the first like 30 minutes or so of you waking up. Like get
Fascinating.
sunlight as fast
I'd imagine
as you
sooner
can.
the better.
You know
yeah.
what?
Yeah.
My house is like dark as fuck too.
Oh yeah, I've got blackout curtains
so
and
I
everything.
feel like
Yeah.
we just like our house has no front windows. The design is really stupid.
that was fascinating.
It's really dumb. Yeah. So yeah, I really have to like take my ass outside. And
Great
find the
fortifications
sun.
from the street side in the
Yeah,
zombie apocalypse. though.
absolutely. The zombies aren't getting us, but neither is the sunlight.
Neither is we will become zombies from
Yes.
the lack of
Quite-
sunlight.
quite
is
true.
how
The
this is
zombie
gonna work.
apocalypse happens.
Well, a very
we'll cut you
interesting
into sunlight.
subject, Victor. I think I'm excited to
Dig
learn a
more
little
into
bit
that?
more and dig more
so,
into that.
so I did want to just kind of cap slightly. So it is a lot of information and it is very overwhelming. So having a list of vitamins and minerals that you do happen to supplement with, and just trying to get as the bulk of your diet should be whole, nutrient-dense foods. You should
Yeah.
be shooting for vegetables and fruits and lean meats, and you're going to basically have most of these bases covered as it is.
Yeah, it's
And
not
then I
something to
tend-
like panic really about.
No, and
particularly.
then I
It
tend to
feels
look
that
at-
way.
then
When
I
you-
tend to
It
look at
when I
does,
like
started
yeah.
looking at all this different stuff, it felt panicky. I was
for
like,
sure.
how do I keep track of all this crap? Then I started seeing, oh, it's in this. Oh, it's in that. Oh, wait, this has this, and this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And
okay.
this is
Yeah,
also
some
where
things have
tracking
lots
your
of them.
intake helps, because it tends to give you a list of your vitamins and minerals from
Yeah,
those foods
it does.
specifically.
Yeah.
Once you know your nutrition gaps, then you can supplement
Yeah.
as needed, so that you're not really putting yourself out too much in your lifestyle as you're continuing to build towards optimal.
Cool. Yeah, I think I'm going to dive into for next week for my episode. I'm going to dive into a little bit more about vitamins and which ones we should take and what is it like our actual multivitamins and stuff like that. So I think it should be kind of
I dig it.
take this.
I
and
am
run with
totally
it.
into learning more about the vitamins. Like I said, it was so much. I just kind of wanted to do an overview today about
I'm kind of glad you
micronutrients
did because
in
that was
general.
one thing that I was worried about. Is I was like, this is a lot of information.
Yeah, so no, we
It is
did
so
we did
much.
highly sciencey and touch on stuff. So I think that'll be great to have an episode where we kind of cap on the things that you do really need to focus on.
Yeah.
Like some of these, I had never even like chromium. I've never even heard of that.
Oh
Have
yeah,
you heard that?
that's the stuff they use for cell phone batteries.
You should eat those.
It assists insulin action, though. That seems important.
It's
It
very
does seem
important.
Fluoride.
What
like
has
I know what
chromium
fluoride
in it?
is.
Wait, fluoride?
Fluoride. Yeah, you need it.
I don't
What
think
has-
that can't
what has-
be right.
what
It's
has
good. For, yeah, you
chromium
need
in it?
fluoride. It's good for your bones and your teeth.
No,
Apples
that's
with
something
peel,
that they've
green
shoved
beans.
in there. Fluoride's poisonous.
Oh
Fluoride,
my!
It's good for your teeth.
gosh.
It keeps you from getting
That's
cavities.
that's actually not true.
It keeps you from getting cavities.
Yes.
That was a fallacy that was put out way back in the day.
Oh,
Michael,
I'm telling you.
you're
Yep.
gonna have to do an episode on fluoride.
I might do that.
You go ahead. You prove it.
I've avoided fluoride for a long time and I have zero cavities.
Do you brush your teeth?
Yeah.
Oh wait, do you drink water?
Yeah.
You have not avoided fluoride.
Yeah,
Yes, I
it's-
have, because my Berkey has an arsenic and
It
fluoride
occurs
filter.
naturally and is released
Boom.
from rocks into the soil, water, and air.
Oh, the joke's on you. I don't breathe air.
I knew it.
Yeah, fluoride is
That
very
is fascinating. I
very-
did not know that. I don't want to believe it.
You don't want to believe what?
I'm going to
fluoride?
dig deeper. I'm going to go into conspiracy
Go
theories.
for it. Oh, here. Fluoride is in fluoridated water, obviously. Crab meat, beans, black tea, raisins, cereal, fish, and fruit
Fucking
juice.
cereal.
Shambles.
Cereal is the king.
Shambles.
The king of minerals and vitamins is
So
cereal.
much stuff has, cereal.
They just we're putting everything in this shit. This shit's actually not good for
But
you.
it
but
just
we're gonna
says
make
cereal,
it good for you.
so like, also, what cereals are they talking
I
about?
think they're
'Cause
just
there's
literally.
like,
They must mean like fortified.
I think they have an additive
Cereals.
standard process for cereals,
They
I would
do,
assume, by
yeah.
this point.
that has to have a certain amount of some of this.
Like,
stuff.
look,
Probably.
This shit is processed as fuck. It's food coloring. It's sugar. We got to make it better.
Here's your vitamins
What
and
the heck
minerals.
is this? Molybdenum.
Molybdenum.
Yeah. what you said.
Molybdenum. That sounds
Molybdenum.
like a Harry Potter spell.
Yeah.
Molybdenum.
Yeah, it
Molybdenum.
does.
Right?
It totally does.
Molybdenum was actually first discovered on a meteorite that struck Earth during the Jurassic
I
period.
never know if he's serious.
I thought you were serious for a hot second. I
I'm
was like, wait,
what?
what? Yeah, you got me. You got me. Phosphorus, potassium. There's so many things. Selenium. I've heard that, but I have no idea.
Selenium is huge for cellular wall regeneration and fortification. It's a very important one.
Yeah, but, all these are important. That's the point.
They are.
All of these things are important. Your body needs all of these things to function properly. And if you eat a well-balanced meal, a well-balanced diet, it's there. But it's crazy to me what things like that you can miss. That was one of the things when I was going through all these micronutrients. Just to end on this, Cap, is missing one of them is easier than trying to get all of them, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. So, like, if you try to focus on all of them, you're going to drive yourself crazy. But it is possible for you to be deficient in one of them.
For sure.
And that could be the reason that you're having some health issues overall is because of a deficiency. So don't kill yourself going over it, but maybe think about it a little bit. Understand that there are micronutrients that are super necessary. Like all of the pirates had no idea that they all they needed was freaking limes with them,
Yeah.
and they wouldn't have died. But scurvy killed off a lot of people, a lot of them.
Yeah, I feel like if you're someone who has like a not very varied diet, you eat the same, because there's people like that.
Yes.
You eat the same
Yeah,
shit every
100%.
day, whether it's for its convenience or it's easy or that's what you like to eat. I mean, you might be a person that wants to analyze your diet a little bit and make sure that you're hitting all these things.
And if you're just really not willing to track
Or
and
take
find those
vitamins.
loopholes, go get blood work done.
Yeah,
Because
that's a
they
good
can
idea.
tell you what you're deficient in naturally, and
Yeah.
then that's a very simple way of being, oh shit, okay, I need
There
to
you
add
go.
iodine into the mix.
Yeah.
Or
It reminds me of. Did you guys ever watch House?
Yeah,
I
love
love
House.
that
Long time
show.
ago.
Love
I did
House.
enjoy it, but I never
it hasn't
got
been on the
fully
air
into
for
it.
so
Shout out
long.
Hugh Laurie. Good job.
Yeah, so good. Amazing piano player, also, by the way.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
Ridiculous. So, but there was an episode where the woman was like crazy and she was having all these issues, but she had a son, and the son took care of her. He was like 11. He was like
Yeah.
really young because he didn't want to he didn't want to get put away. Like
Should've
he didn't
fed
want
her
her to
cereal.
put into.
I know, right?
Idiot.
Apparently, but he. It came to find out that like he didn't want to go to child services and didn't want her to get put into an institution, but she was like whacked out. And what happened is she had gotten sick. What I'm going to give away the end of the episode if you haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it. It's House.
Yeah,
It's
so
old.
it's super old. But she had gotten sick, and while she had gotten sick originally, he started taking care of her, and she was only willing to eat this, like, they were these microwave burgers, because they went, you know how they, in-house, they go to their house and, like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
they like,
Yeah, totally
break
not what
in
people
and-
do, yeah.
but they found in the freezer all these frozen pre-made burgers, and that's all she was eating then. The kid was, like, 11 years old. He didn't know any better, but
yeah.
that's the only thing she wouldn't fight him to eat. So that's all she was eating. So she had a major like micronutrient deficiency that once they realized that was the issue, they changed it and she was
I
completely
swear to
cured.
God, they would have just looked at her blood work and figured that out, but
You
whatever.
would think, yeah.
All right, the TV show. I'm just stating it made me think of that episode.
Like, we ran a million tests. We couldn't figure it out
We
until we,
ran
looked in
no
her
test.
freezer.
We just broke into her house. Burgers.
We love you guys. Thank you so much
We
for
do
listening
love
to
you guys.
another episode and
Episode
dealing
number
with us.
69.
69. That's right. Go
We
research
are
your 69s, people.
Yeah.
They're very important because there's like the yin and the yang,
Yeah.
and they
And
go
the
together,
cancer and
they
the cancer
yeah.
Right,
symbol.
and
and the vitamin D.
Grecians
It's all
and
good for you. All of it.
pyramids
and
It's
stuff,
wonderful.
and 69
You guys
all
are
over the place.
absolutely the best. We appreciate each and every one of you guys for listening and taking the time to listen to a bunch of Jamokes talk about, fitness. So,
Wow, the
yeah.
monks. That's all we are.
yeah. Bunch of jamokes.
Episode 69.
Till next week.